what's going on, guys? Welcome back to AriesEDC and another edition of TNFNU thoughts and feelings and updates. So, interesting subject that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I was having a conversation with somebody, and they own a couple of my knives, and they were asking me a bunch of questions because they were sitting there taking measurements of like the handles, and they were like wondering if I could do something and breaking it down to like millimeters, like, oh well, this handle was this millimeters and this handle was this millimeters, why don't you just do this millimeters instead of that millimeters, blah 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 blah. And it was kind of a rabbit hole conversation because I had to tell that person I don't put that much thought into that. I'm not a high-end production company that puts a lot of thought into, okay, every handle needs to come out being 15 millimeters. Every time I make a bloom, it has to look the certain way and have the same handle material and the same thickness and yada yada. And that's not how I do things. Everything I do is full custom. So everyone, if I make 6 blooms, they're all going to be a little bit different, even though I'm using the exact same measured handle material and the same thickness. Each one's going to be in its own little difference. They're going to be very similar, but they're all going to have their own little different twerks or quirks. Twerks? That's a totally different thing. Quirks, but everyone's going to be a little bit different. I am not like a high number production company. I've watched some videos of like TJ which does the Overland series of fixed blades. And yeah, they're making everything down to the millimeter to fit, because if they mess up on the handles, then the sheaths don't fit and then it won't fit on the blade and everything has to fit perfectly. They also have mills and CNC machines and everything else to do that. I'm doing everything by hand. So I don't put that much thought into every time I make this certain pattern or model of a knife that it's always going to be the same thickness and handle material. Plus, you guys, when it comes to a full custom, maybe somebody wants a little bit thicker handle than somebody else. Somebody might want a thinner handle. So I kind of play that game. I know that in my wheelhouse of most of my knives, a 3/16 thick material is right in that great wheelhouse of where everything needs to be. And once you start getting a little thinner, then I suggest adding a liner. If you get a little thicker, it looks a little funky, in my opinion, when you have a smaller fixed blade and then you have this giant stinking handle. It looks a little funky to me. That's just my opinion. If obviously I've done one before that was a smaller blade and had a really thick handle, which is what that person wanted, and I'm perfectly happy to do that. But I don't break things down to say, okay, every time I make a bloom, the handle thickness always has to be 17 millimeters. I don't put that much thought into it. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, and it's all based on the handle materials and the availability of those handle materials. I would love to be able to say I can get anything I want in the perfect size, but sometimes I can't. I have to get thinner and then try to do liners, or have to get thicker and try to thin it out, which isn't easy and it takes a lot more time to do. So it was an interesting conversation, but I just want to make it clear that what I'm doing is a full custom jobs, and I try to make them feel right. For me, it's okay. Well, put it in your hand. What does it feel like? Does it feel good? Okay, then I did my job. And when you get one of my knives, I want it to just melt in your hand, give you that perfect grip to be able to do it. Even if it's a thinner handle, you're still going to be able to get the job done with whatever you want to do. So that was an interesting subject that kind of came up, and I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts about that. It's interesting how people, I think, overthink things. I think it's just you're overthinking it. Just go with it. And sometimes as a custom maker, you got to just kind of pick a material, go, and see what comes of it. Sometimes great things can happen if you just kind of let go and just have fun. And that's kind of the message is don't be afraid to just go. Um, and just don't be afraid to try new things. or new materials. Just try to get some information, but I don't get hung up on millimeters and measuring things and doing that. I have my pattern. I do everything in the wood pattern because I don't do handle scales on it because every handle is going to be a little bit different, or somebody might want something different. As long as I have the pattern of that knife, then I can just cut that steel out and the handle, I can do whatever I want. And it kind of leaves it open. I don't want to lock myself into always having to have the same handle shape every time I make a knife, because some people don't like that. Some people like something different, but normally I'll do the nice rounded front, and I think that's a good aesthetic, and that's kind of what I like to do. And that's what it's about. I like to do things the way I like to do things. And when you're a creative person making something that you're creating, then it has to fall into something that you like. And that's the style that I like and I drawn to. So that's what I make. Ta-da! All right. Another thing I wanted to address this week, which I'm just going to say it and we're going to be done because it made me feel a little weird when it happened. I was in a live stream, and I pop in and out of live streams usually in the evening because everybody's going live at that time, and I'm ending my day. I will say that. And I popped into a live stream, say hi to everybody, and the host of that live stream was like, "Oh, AriesEDC, cool, good to see you. It's so good to see a famous knife maker in the chat." and I and it caught me off guard, and I was like, famous knife maker? No, I am not a famous knife. No, I'm just I'm just AriesEDC. I'm just so it was just I didn't know how to feel about that. A famous knife maker? No, I might be somewhat well known. Okay, I'll throw that out there, but famous? No, no, definitely not famous. But it was thrown out there, and I don't know if that person meant that or just that was what came to their head when they said it. But it was funny, and it made me smile, but then it made me very uncomfortable because I was like, no, no, I am far from famous. That is for sure. You guys got me on the artist thing, but you're not going to get me on the famous thing. But yeah, it made me laugh. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, it caught me off guard because I was like, what? Oh, and to each his own. But that's kind of the two things I wanted to talk to you guys about this week. So hopefully you could take that for what it's worth. So updates, 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 updates. So by now, you should all know that the 80 CRV2 glow thorns are all done. So the green, the yellow, and that purple, the amethyst carbon, it is Turbo Glow by Carbon Waves. I used to have their carbon stuff around here, but I don't know where that went. But by Carbon, ooh, I found it. By Carbon Waves. I had bought that material so long ago, I had forgotten, but there is all of their information. I purchased this from them, and they did some really cool stuff. So all of that glow material is from Carbon Waves, and it's called Turbo Glow. And I finished all three of those. So those are awesome. While I finished those, and while I was waiting for all four of the AEB-L blades thorns to come back, I did start some of the November and December builds, which a video will be coming out on those probably next week. And I made really great progress. So let me talk to you guys about what we are doing. We are going to be doing 2 rock hoppers. And I have a plan. Hear me out. Hear me out. I have a plan. We're going to be doing 2 rock hoppers. And these are going to be an AEB-L. And we're going to have some fun with the handle materials. I think I shared that last week. We're doing 2 Wessers. This one is in Nitro V, and the other one will be in AEB-L. That person picked AEB-L, but we're doing 2 Wessers. Then we are doing the Tobiko, which is also in Nitro V. So we got a Tobiko in Nitro V. I'm gonna have some fun with that one, guys. I'm gonna have some fun with that one. Just so you know, with the handle material on that one, I'm gonna have some fun. We're doing a Torcido, which I haven't done a Torcido in quite some time. This is a Cheeto designed Torcido. He sent me this design, and this is straight out of his design. It's a really cool blade. It's a little funky, but I gotta tell you, once you get it in your hand, that totally makes sense. So I'm doing a Torcido, and I got it all cut out and ready to go. We got them all ready for bevels. So all of these are ready for their bevels to be ground. And I'm doing a spike. And this is going to be an LMAX. So the steel is LMAX, and it's going to be skeletonized. So it's basically going to look like this. I'm not going to put any handles on it. I made the large holes on it, which was not fun. And I'm going to do my best once the bevels are ground to try to keep this mill finish on the steel. The steel came in with like kind of this rough finish, and I want to try to keep that finish on the blade as best that I possibly can. I'm going to grind the bevels in, and I'm going to send this out to heat treat. And hopefully when it comes back, I can keep that look. Obviously I'm going to have to sand some of it off because it has that kind of straw finish when heat treat blades come back from Peters. But I'm going to do my best to try to keep that finish. I don't know. I think it's going to look pretty stinking cool. I'm going to round everything off and do all that as well. Well, not round, but I'm going to at least chamfer some of the edges so it's not so rough, so it's comfortable for the user to hold. But this is the last of the 3-finger spikes. This was an older design. I've now extended the handle out, but this was a bar steel that I had laying around, and I specifically wanted to do this blade. So I got it cut out, I got it shaped, and got the holes drilled. So now it's just time for the bevels along with the other ones. But this is what we're going to do. This is my game plan. My game plan is the Wesser, the Torcido, the Tobiko, and the Spike are all going to get sent out for heat treat. Those are the Nitro V and LMAX. The rock hoppers I'm going to hold on to because I did order another bar of AEB-L because I'm also doing another Wesser and a pedal. I'm doing a pedal for somebody who is awesome. So I'm doing a pedal, a Wesser, and the other Wesser. But the Wesser, that one Wesser is a Nitro V. I'm getting you guys confused. But the rock hoppers, a Wesser, and the pedal are all going to be an AEB-L. So I'm going to send all 4 of those off to heat treat together once I get those ready for heat treat. So those 4, I'm going to get them going, and then we're going to send the other 4 out to heat treat. But the AEB-L thorns have come back from heat treat, and I've already started them, and I've already gotten 3 handles glued up. And I only have 3 because the 4th one, I had to order more camo carbon because all 4 are going to have a fun camo carbon, but I only had these 3 colors in. We had that galactic green space weave, which I have done several knives in. We have the Damtanium, which is going to look awesome, which is the same that the Micro has. So that's going to be what the handle looks like. And we're doing the Black Pearl camo carbon. So there's these 3. I can't tell you what the 4th one is yet, though. It's a camo carbon I haven't worked with, a color I haven't worked with, and it's pretty popular. So I'm looking forward to get that one in. It should be here in the next couple days, and I should be able to get that 4th one buttoned up. So once all 4 of these are all looking good, all the thorns are done, then I'm going to turn my attention to the November, December stuff. So today is the 17th as this video comes out on the 17th. So I'm in mid-October. Woo! So we are looking pretty stinking good. If I can finish up the thorns and get all of these sent out for heat treat, and then work on the AEB-L and get those sent out to heat treat, then I can turn my attention to just a couple of the ADC RV2 and that Pro Cut, Pops Pro Cut Max that I want to do. So the rest of the year is going to be filled with builds. That is for sure, because we're going to do 2 Maxes, one in the Pops Pro Cut, one in ADC RV2. I have 2 mini gargoyles, a naked column, and maybe a couple package hatchets, possibly if I can get to them before the end of the year. And if I can get all that stuff done, that'll put me over 100 builds for this year. But I also have a ton of stuff going on in my personal life beyond this channel. We're doing a bunch of home improvement stuff, which some of it is going well and some of it is not going well. And I'm dealing with a bunch of stuff. So, and all of that work is going to be pulling me away from the shop and getting that stuff done. So I'm trying to get the 3 customer builds that I have going on and all the thorns done as quickly as I possibly can. But I know the next couple weeks I'm going to have some hangups on all of that. But it's going to be okay. If I don't get to 100, I don't get to 100. I'm not putting pressure on myself as much as I would love to do it. If I can't do it, I can't do it, as long as I'm putting out as many blades as I possibly can, because I'm still trying to save up for Blade Show and to make sure I have all of that stuff going on. Plus, I just remembered December, I have my big meetup here in the Central Florida area. So I got to start talking about that and putting some more stuff out on that. Ooh, boy, that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, guys, I also have been posting videos on knives that you guys can win for once I get to 4,000 subs here on YouTube. I just posted one on this guy, which you guys seem to really like, but the Finch Buffalo Tooth with the mother of pearl. This will be available as a giveaway once we get to 4,000 subs. That's cool. And then we have some other things. The Daedalus Lab. This thing is a really cool little gentleman's folder, done really well. I posted some stuff about that one. We have the Petrified Fish Flavorist, but this is the spear point version of the Flavorist, not the other one, the Cleaver, which is what they call it. I don't know if it's a cleaver or not. We have the Rosecraft. This thing is pretty cool. This is the Rosecraft Savage Creek with the pistol grip, or the gun stock, I'm sorry, the gun stock handle. This is a TPK exclusive with the bourbon bone. Nice little slip joint. And we have a Tucson that we're going to be giving away. This is everything is a number. The TS495. I can never remember numbers. I can remember names of knives, but I can never remember numbers of knives. Button lock and done really well. 154 cm or 14C28N is the blade steel. So this is another one that's going to be given away either my journey to 4,000, or I might hold off and do this at the 4,000 giveaway and make it just a big party and give away a bunch of stuff. And then, of course, is the AriesEDC Kubi Bloom, which I'm going to be giving away as well when we get to 4,000 subs. I am slowly but surely creeping up there. I'm only a couple hundred subs away from it, so I'm hoping I can get there before the end of the year. That would be pretty awesome. But again, when I get there, I get there. No pressure. Anyway, guys, that is what I have for you this week. Thank you so much. Hopefully all of that makes sense. I don't put that much thought into handle materials or handle thicknesses. I just want it to know what it's going to fit in the hand and what works and what doesn't. I am definitely not famous whatsoever, and I have a ton of work to do. So thank you so much. Please remember, subscribe, like, leave a comment, or not. That choice is always yours.